Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully, hopefully you all can hear me well. If I could get a sound check from the chat, that would be great. Mm, It's a Friday evening, and I've got something, something quite a little different. You may not be familiar with some of the names, but maybe you will. But it's well along the subject that we've all been discussing in regards to, the weaponization of the legal system, mm, to try to use it as a public relations forum, trying to fix reputations, or really just trying to silence people who just have too much to say about you. And we've got another one that was filed just the other day, and it happens to be quite controversial and, quite large in the Twitch universe, not necessarily here on YouTube, although they all also have content on YouTube, but they're mostly known as Twitch streamers. So, before I go any further, let me just check. Thank you. So the sound is good. That's good. There should be a little bit of background coming in, you know. It is a good day because it's Friday. Hey, Jean, welcome to my mods coming in. Thank you for those of you over at the Twitch that are monitoring over there, and also on Kick. I appreciate it. We're live streaming on all three at once. Although, hey, I don't really have much of an audience over at Twitch or Kick, but I will remind you all it's free to follow over there if you'd like. And I just want to do the multi streaming, protect content and all of that, and just get a little bit larger audience. Although I will admit, neither of those platforms are really ready for true crime, you know. But the way true crime's been going on around here on YouTube lately, like, I just felt I had to spread out a bit. Y'all know what I mean. True crime has so many different ways of presenting itself. And lately, well, I've become a little bit uncomfortable out here a bit. Uh, trying to find channels more like mine that just want to give information. Usually, when I do my true crime and legal updates on large cases and small cases, cases with twists, I usually try to stick to the facts, and give a good background on what's going on in updates based on legal documents and what happens in the court. And I do love live streaming court events and hearings and sitting with you all and then actually, discussing it later, just giving you like a bird's eye view inside in a way to talk about it and understanding the process. Because when it comes down to it, I do this for true crime because I love the legal system. I read legal briefs as often as I can. I used to read them every day over coffee in the morning. I will admit, life is a little crazy right now, and I haven't been able to do that every day. But I am staying on top of everything that gets filed in all the different cases that we are covering, and keeping my eye out for new ones like the one tonight. But the series that I am doing tonight, the What the F Legal, is more of a outright opinion and commentary stream than it is just keeping the information. I will give you all the facts, but I will have strong opinions on some of the stuff that's going on, and I will more than likely have more than my share of things to say about it. And I'm sorry if that offends some people. I mean, please tell me about it in the comments. Like, I'm a big girl, I can take it. And I do want to hear from you. Mine should not be the only voice on any subject anywhere for any reason. And I do like to hear from people who either agree or not or have anything to say about it, because my purpose out here on YouTube, any other platforms, as I have said repeatedly, is that, I want to have the conversations. I want to promote conversations, engage in conversations, give people a voice who feel like they don't have one, um, and listen to all sides. Nick, I want to stimulate conversation about a lot of topics, even the very, very uncomfortable ones. So, Mrs. Cassandra, I see you in the chat. Now stop it. Stop it. Don't be talking about my spread or what I like. Like, stop that. Just stop that. Okay. Yeah. So, anyway, I definitely should get right to the topic. In once I put this up, I expect that some of you are going to have questions because you may not be familiar. But I'm gonna, I will definitely bring everything with it and make sure that we go over all of it. Let's just let's see. Okay, so you can all see. We're going to be talking about three Twitch streamers today in the whole company, but it's all about one lawsuit that was filed just recently, just the other day, by mizkif there, the one on the other side of the rabbits, against emiru, his former girlfriend and streaming partner, and also an associate of OTK, which is a group that he founded along with asmongold, who goes by Zach Raw on Twitch, for those of you. And yeah, that name, right? That name. They are also names, okay? What did the bunnies do? I'll get to that, Jin. There's a very interesting part of the story. But Emiru is known to have lots of bunnies as pets, okay? Who and that becomes the center part of this whole thing, eventually. But let's get to it. In for reference, in the sources, I will have the videos that I'm going to talk about that Emiru did, that Mitsuki did, and another streamer by the name of Turkey Tom, who does a real good background into Mitsuki. So, his Mitsuki's, what should we say? His reputational issues or his controversial takes on things. So like, the he's a very successful streamer, or he was rather years ago when he started OTK, which stands for One True King, a group of streamers in Austin, Texas that got together to form this organization. Asmongold being one of them, S Fan being another one. There was quite a few of them at the site. I do not know all of the streamers that are in that group, but it is a group of local streamers in Austin, Texas that got together, and it's been very successful for them. They promote each other, they get business deals, they are able as a group to negotiate better advertising, better deals, better products, things like that. And it actually has worked out quite well and been successful. Now, as far as I know, Asmongold has stepped back, from that. Ms. Kift has not been actually a big part of it since his first go around with all of his partners in, let's say, 23. Um, but what's come to head is that, based on what I'm reading in the documents, he's very upset about emiru's video that she did, her live stream that she did, talking about their relationship and what she put out as being physical and emotional abuse, psychological rather, and emotional abuse in some threatening type situations that she incurred in, just basically it being a toxic relationship. And well, the reason she came forward with these years later, because their relationship was in 2022, was because at TwitchCon this year, you may have seen on X or heard about it. I'm not sure what social platforms all of you follow, but it was pretty much everywhere, on Twitch, on YouTube, and on X, and everywhere, that Emiru was assaulted by a fan who was able to walk right up on the platform and try to kiss her, hug her, put his hands on her, got close enough to touch her at TwitchCon, regardless of there being security guards. And it was her own team that actually got the guy off and actually, took her to safety, not the security guards. They never even hit the platform she was on, because I saw the clip. And that was upsetting enough, okay? Twitch's lack of regard on it, putting her in that place. I mean, these streamers, especially the females, and I would say even the guys, okay, the ones that talk to their chat a lot, the ones that encourage interaction, do face a lot of issues with these parasocial relationships that go too far, with people stalking them, threatening them, and harassing them. And Emiru, per how she tells the story, and with collaboration from Osmongold and mizkif, who are the other two parties named in this, part of this lawsuit, along with all the members of OTK, King, and Mythic, uh, they've all expressed concern over those kind of situations, in the lack of safety that they feel at Twitch, on how they handle it. There's been a lot going on with Twitch lately, which is why I know about this lawsuit, because I've been following everything that's been going on with Twitch, especially after we watched streamers assault someone, non-consensual contact, shall we say, you know, on stream, and only get banned for a day. And then when it comes up that they did it before with somebody else, they got banned for a week. Who just yesterday came back, and instead of actually being apologetic, which they were while they were banned, they came back and did like their intro and everything, making fun of the whole situation, and actually pointing at the person who feels offended of the contact that didn't have consent, like making fun of them. Way to go, Twitch. Brought that person back, and all they're doing is making fun of the whole situation, as if, you know, men, and it was a woman streamer against a man. As against, that's not really non consensual contact, because, like, that doesn't exist. What the heck is wrong with them? Like, how they don't see the bigger issue here? I mean, they actually suspended someone for 2 weeks because they called someone fat. And I'm sorry, the person was fat. But you can get suspended for 2 weeks for that. But you're allowed to put hands on someone, grope them, try to take their clothes off publicly on stream, and then only get a week's ban, and then come back and be able to laugh about it like it wasn't any big deal. And that's really what gets me about this whole thing. That's part of the problem that I have with this suit with Miss Kid. But let's get into it. Let's get into the suit. First of all, why is he suing them? Well, emiru talked about this situation because while she was at TwitchCon, got assaulted like by a fan. Also at TwitchCon, members of her team, employees of hers, were approached by Mitskid, and we're told that if emiru ever says anything about him, he will ruin her life. Well, bad timing, Mitskid, because that is probably what prompted her to speak about it. Because you took a very vulnerable moment where she was attacked, she's at her lowest, she's feeling like the world is out of control right now, and you've been threatening her behind the scenes since your breakup, not to talk about you because you don't want anyone to know what it was really like. Because actually, obviously, there's been a lot on the socials lately. Everybody's looking into this, and everybody's posting clips of your relationship with her and the streaming with her and how your behavior was, and it doesn't look good. I mean, maybe you were cosplaying or role playing or whatever, but you come out like an unmitigated ass in almost every clip, and you come out as controlling, and you actually have made admissions to the same. But it was bad move on your part, and now, in my humble opinion, this lawsuit is all about you trying to backtrack and save what little you can of your financial situation and your reputation, because you're plummeting. But to blame that on Emiru because her stream was just in October, and it is linked out below. And she talks about many incidences that occurred that made her feel unsafe, and that she admits it was a toxic relationship. She admits that they were too involved with each other, too, codependent on each other from the start, that she turned to him over a stalker situation, and he actually understood that. But then, all during their relationship, these stalker situations and everything kind of heightened stuff, and his insecurity about her becoming a more popular streamer, which he admits, which he admitted in his prior relationship with Maya Higa, actually admitted it publicly on stream, in posts, in it was really much common knowledge that he really was very insecure of anyone who was doing better than he was. He doesn't come off really well here. And it's not my purpose in this stream to actually bash him. But facts are facts, and this is what I'm seeing. I mean, being new to who hell he was, because he's not the kind of creator I would watch to begin with, although he was very extremely popular and he's made millions. And if you go back to 2021 and 2020, he was the shit, so to speak. He's a maneuver. He knows how to network. He's really he really had something going on. Whether he can hold a stream on his own, I'm not so sure, because most of his streams are about collaboration and networking, and that works really well in Twitch, especially back then when they were just starting out. Um, but it's not really been as successful for him now. Okay, I recommend that rather than just going by what I say about the situation, that you do watch both emiru's and mizkif streams, because I am going to be pulling information right from them, but I'm not going to play them. I want them to get their own views for it. I believe it. I'm just going to glean information from it. And the same thing goes for Asmongold, or Zach Raw, rather, on Twitch. He's made quite a few comments about it. In Emiru's stream, she actually said she conferred with him and talked to him about it, and that he admitted on several of his streams that he also had talked to her about it well before she came out and disclosed this relationship situation, because she was tired of being blackmailed and threatened and harassed. And she had not spoken to Mizkif or had any contact with him by text or anything since their breakup, besides one incident that she talks about in her stream of October 25th, where she felt it was a sexual assault. Okay. Now, there's a lot back and forth on whether it was or not. Basically, it was a week after their breakup. He came over to talk. They were talking. She was crying. She was very emotional. They started kissing. She admits it was with consent, but he went to take it farther, and she yelped or screamed, and he jumped off and left. Not with an apology, not to see if she was okay, because she's still crying the whole time. And he left. Now, did he do anything wrong? It's probably a misunderstanding. It's easy. I mean, this is my opinion, okay? It's easy to misunderstand signals in a heated, you're in a breakup, it's emotional. It's easy to misunderstand signals. In my personal opinion, she's crying her eyes out. I mean, it's not really attractive or sexy at the point. I mean, why he thought she wanted more at that point, I don't know. But I'm not him. I don't know their personal relationship. I don't know why. Okay. But still, to call it sexual assault is a little harsh. And I understand why he's upset about that. But he can't deny it happened, because they both tell the story. And that's why I've got both videos down there. They tell the story exactly the same. Except for he's like, I thought she wanted it. She's like, what? No. She's using harsh language to define it. And that's taken off on the internet, I will admit. Everywhere, everybody, including Osmond Gold, has been using that term rather harshly. Um, and I will admit, it doesn't look good for Miss Kip. He didn't stay and apologize. He didn't say, "Oh my gosh, like I didn't mean anything." Of course, if everything's cool. No, he said, "Oh, now I feel like I did something wrong," and he left. And he admits he left, panicked, thinking that he was guilty of something, and he never followed up even with her afterwards. In his stream, he actually says he should have, and he's sorry he didn't. And I'm like, you can't wait till it gets to be public that you apologize for something you did. I mean, automatically you're behind the eight ball if that happens. Like, I mean, you could have even sent her a text message to apologize the next day that it was a misunderstanding, and you're sorry, but you were just so freaked out. Like, be a man, be a goddamn man, and not some little boy. Okay, running away like, oh my god, I'm in trouble. oh, let me just not face it for 10 months and let's wait till everybody has something to say about it before I can defend myself. Bad move. Just a little bit of advice for guys out there. This shit happens. People misread shit. Okay? Address it immediately. Straighten it out before you give some retaliatory petty person the ability to say anything about it. Now, I'm not calling emiru a retaliatory or petty. I mean the internet. Because there's a lot of people out there with beef against mizkif that are using this to prove why they have beef with mizkif. That's how the internet rolls. We've seen this a lot. Okay, but his lawsuit is all about everything that they're saying is not true, which I have an issue with. That asmongold and emiru are only repeating what emiru said happened in the relationship. With I'm sorry, I watched mizkif's response and he admits to it all of it. But now he's suing that it's slander. How? How the hell is it slander? You just admitted to the toxic relationship. You admitted to all of it. You may not like the language that she used to explain the situation, but oh Lord, like you admitted to it all. And like I said, guys, check out his video. I don't think that I am exaggerating this situation at all. It is that crazy. So he's suing emiru Primary under her real name, and I'm not gonna show on the internet like live all of these documents, but I am going to give them to you for you to read because that's how the people who follow me like to roll with the facts. That's why I'm linking all of the videos. And we're going to be talking about a situation also that happened in the past where I recommend that you watch Turkey Tom's video that I linked below. Now, I don't watch any of these people regularly, but in this case, I recommend these videos because, well, for the Turkey Tom, he gives history and context. It's very important to the situation, especially in regards to some things I'm going to say about the lawsuit in general, okay, and why I'm saying it. So check it out. It has some facts and all in there, and he has done his research. He also, gives his props to Mizkif for starting out how he did and being the big streamer that he was. It puts everything into context pretty much as to why this lawsuit is happening. Because, well, to tell you the truth, this lawsuit is happening, number one, for sour grapes. Number two, because, well, it's very good legal positioning. If you are a professional streamer and this kind of stuff is going on, I can imagine any lawyer or manager is going to advise you to sue just because of the kinds of losses that you're looking at. All right, but we all know defamation. Ay, 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 ay. Defamation is a very tough hill to climb if you are a public figure. And there's no doubt that Mizkif is a public figure. At one time, he was much larger than emiru. Okay. I don't know if he was ever bigger than Asmongold, but I do know they started out around the same time. So I would say that at certain points of Mizkif's career, they were at least comparable. And as far as networking and the ability to do business deals and to market oneself, I would say Mizkif was really up there at one time, like years ago. Not yesterday, not the day before the suit, the week before the suit, not even the week before emiru made her video. And that's my point. That's why you got to watch the Turkey Tom video, because there was scandal that actually forced OTK to send him a letter that they actually thought that he was misrepresenting the company in a bad light with his conduct in this, that, and the other thing. They did an investigation, but it did cause Mizkif to go to Japan and not be really streaming with everyone from OTK anymore. And they kind of like started separating way back then. And it seems that there was a deal to buy back his stock and a promissory note that he was getting paid and an agreement that was made back in 2023. And I can say that because it's mentioned in Mizkif's only filing, because he actually put in the filing the document that was sent by OTK to terminate their relationship with him. You see, part of this lawsuit is being prompted by OTK, One True King, the organization of streamers that he started, actually pulling back all of his stock and actually voiding the promissory note that they were buying it back with from back in 2023 because of his ongoing bad behavior and conduct and putting the company in a bad light. They actually show in the letter several actual statements that he made disparaging the group and the streamers involved. And although Miskif would like to believe that it's emiru's video that is making them kicking to the curb, and oh, by the way, revoking the promissory note so that they don't have to pay him for the stream for the stock, which is a loss of millions of dollars, by the way. And also actually mentioning that he went outside and made separate management deals, which was against his contract with OTK. So he now owes another $600,000 plus on top of that. Oh, and they want the last payment they made on the promissory note of 200,000 odd back also. So we're looking at millions of dollars that Mitskif is going to lose here because of what happened. But in the letter from OTK, they do not say that it's his relationship with emiru that is actually causing this or emiru's stream. Okay, they are actually saying that they don't care about that. They're saying we don't know about that. That has nothing to do with us. But what you did do against your contract was threatening OTK member. Emiru is a member of OTK. And at TwitchCon, Miskov made the mistake of issuing a threat through her employees to her and among with others. Everybody knows about it, including other members of OTK. Now, that's in direct conduct violation of his contract. Maybe they just had enough. Now, whether they personally feel that whatever you did in your relationship with emiru, and I'm speaking to you right now, Ms. Kip, if they feel that that was wrong, they can on a personal level. But on a business contractual level, you got issues here, dude. You've been speaking out of turn, and now you want to get like something back for it. Like you did a oopsie. And now you're going to have to pay money to fight this, but you're not going to win. Okay, you'll actually, and I know that, and I know that this is just strategic because not only did you file in Texas, which makes sense because OTK is in Texas, but you filed federally, so they couldn't issue an anti-slap and just shut you down. You are doing this for negotiating. This is my personal opinion. I'm not a lawyer, just a bear with a mic, but it says common sense to me that this whole thing is to, number one, keep your name relevant right now and try to get some sympathy from those that follow you, because I do know you got a good following that actually do support you, because you know you cry on stream and you're honest and you play vulnerable very well, and you wear that victim shield that, well, I happen to know that people who love drama, well, they fall for it all the time. But I don't think you're a victim, at least not a victim of anybody else. And in my humble opinion, as a bear with a mic here, you know, prone to say what I feel you're a victim of you, your bad behavior, your inability to handle situations, your own statements out loud on stream repeatedly about how you get angry, about how you can't handle stuff, about how you overreact, about everything. I mean, you basically admitted to everything, and I mean everything in that emiru said. You practically retained the same situations over and over again. But here come the bunnies. Then you tried to say that, well, that's all moot because emiru killed her bunnies. I kid you not. Forget about everything I did. Emiru's no saint. Emiru never said she was. Okay, nobody ever said she was, but apparently he's accusing her of killing several of her bunnies, which she loves, by neglect. And he showed a picture, which I should actually just bring up here for you. Hold on 1 second, of an empty cage. of an empty cage that was obviously dirty and had mice in it. But here's the thing, bunnies do die, and it was an empty cage. And maybe she didn't clean it out. I can see, not that I think that it's cool to leave an empty cage of dirt and filth there, but my point being, several bunnies died while she lived with you, Miss Cap, in a shared house with a lot of people. Six bunnies died in a house where you admit to punching walls, slamming doors on stream, yelling a lot, throwing things, water bottles, phones. There was a volatile situation going on in this house, and bunnies are excitable. I mean, you're showing us an empty cage as if that's what killed the bunnies, but I mean, even that doesn't look good on you. It looked petty and stupid, and it actually goes along with all the threats you made. You actually, Emiru had said that you had actually said to people if Emiru ever spoke up about her mistreatment, that you would come back with the thing that she killed her animals. So they were ready. I do believe that Emiru thought this out and she was ready. I just think she'd had enough. In Emiru's defense of you being a stalker, well, she actually did show that the only one who tried to be in contact since you went to Japan in January, and you guys were finished in January of 2025 of this year, was you. That for 10 months you done nothing but try to contact her, uh, try to plead with her to come back, even though she never answered a single one of your messages. And what you did was threaten her and talk to other streamers and leave little messages and make remarks. There were situations that you admit happened and she admits happened. And so to actually do this lawsuit after you've admitted all of it and try to call it slander, well, I don't know. And as far as the bunnies, so many people have come out and supported Emiru that if the bunnies died, yes, she was depressed and in a toxic relationship. Yeah, he looks so sad when he talks about it, right? But then he looks so sad. He looks so sad about this whole situation. But what does he say? What does he say? Well, he goes on to slander everybody. He says, and I quote from the OTK letter: F streamers, F all of them, F everybody, F Face Clan, and F the fourth floor, and F OTK. F everybody. I'm just gonna start being a solo streamer. I never needed anybody, they needed me. Second quote: OTK failed miserably. Nobody wanted to buy it. It didn't make sense for anyone to even purchase OTK or to run and operate OTK. So now OTK is very small. Wow. You know, I guess he forgot about the agreement he signed in January of 2023. That, hmm, well, they they were going to use talent management representation in, part of your conduct is very important in your contract. And I guess he really, I can't wait to read that contract, because I mean OTK actually says which parts he violated with all of this. And specifically sections 1B, 4C, 4D, and 7E. Oh, and the social media policy that's contained in Schedule 1. All of this was put out about misconduct. They got pretty tight stuff. And from what I understand, the way they're doing it in being successful, yes, there have been plenty of scandals that have hit OTK. They hit other members that had issues. People have stepped down. But as far as legal representation and having pretty decent contracts, I think things are pretty well thought out. Especially since this letter that was is dated, and let me give you a copy of it. This is actually in the filing as Exhibit A from mizkif. He filed it himself in This is the OTK letter from November this year, which actually talks about the prior arrangement that they had in the first notice he had. You see, this is not his first problem with OTK. And that's my issue here. How do you say that they caused you reputational damage and loss of money when you tanked your own career back in 2022 23 with a scandal of really serious proportions about covering up somebody else's non consensual contact? Now, we're not talking about the R word here at all. And in his actual claims, he says that people are calling him that. And that's not true. I have not heard Emiru or Asmongold in any statement. And by the way, since she actually put out her October stream, Emiru is not publicly speaking about this. Asmongold, on the other hand, well, he has been very vocal. And, that might put him as to why he has been named as the secondary person along with the companies. Okay. The two primaries are Emiru and Asmon, who are actually named. And then it's the companies OTK and King and Mythic, which is the groups. But I think he mentioned Asmon because Asmon has actually come out strong in support of Emiru, has admitted to actually counseling her and talking to her, and has actually used some kind of language which he does need to talk to a lawyer about how to present things like saying that he's guilty. He should stop streaming. He should just take the L and leave, that's paraphrasing. But basically, and also using the term essay a lot. Um, they People have their opinion on what essay actually is. I mean, the definition of it is physical contact without consent. And so consent is the issue there, as it is always. In actually, Emiru admits to partial consent prior. Now you can change your consent at every time, which she did with the yell. But it is noted that with the yell, he stopped. So there was no consent after there was no contact after it was withdrawn. So where's the essay, right? Yeah, that's what I say. You know, but you wanted to know about the bunnies, and that's the story about the bunnies. She has a lot of bunnies. You know, Asmin. I have a lot of respect for Asmin Gold. I mean, of all the streamers here, I watch him the most because I do watch Twitch for political content. Yes, yes, yes. I am guilty of watching Twitch for Hassan and Asmongold, and I used to watch Destiny, although Destiny is only on YouTube now. That he don't have that. He don't have Twitch anymore. But like I said, I really think that this case has got really nothing that he's gonna win. Nothing at all. Oh, she still has some. She still has quite a lot of bunnies. That was years ago that a couple of them died. She's got tons of bunnies still. Like, and they have shown the cages and they're well cared for and they're happy looking little bunnies. As a matter of fact, if you go back during their relationship, like in 2022 forward, they were together for years. You will see these bunnies on stream. She puts them on them and all. They're clean. They're well cared for. They look happy. They don't look skitty. They look well fed. Like, they don't look mistreated at all. And that really doesn't go towards his statements either. Basically, when you read the complaint, you're gonna see, and let me just give you the complaint also. There's really not, if you watch the videos, a lot going here for him. It's almost all contested by himself in the facts of the case, actually. Everything that actually happened. Um, his career started tanking years ago. He lost more than half of his viewership. Okay, he still has a pretty healthy channel, I'll say that. I mean, hey, I would trade him in a second, for what he does have. But coming from where he was, I could see where it's been a struggle. And he's been trying very hard. His breakup and his move in January to Japan was actually to concentrate on streaming by himself because it wasn't working out. Like, he was not getting the numbers he wanted. You can hear him on his streams complaining about it constantly. So to have, to put that on asmongold or emiru, it's a little rough, okay, because it's already happened. And we know that the hill is so high to climb when it comes to defamation. First of all, as a public figure, he's going to have to actually prove the losses. What did he lose since October 25th when this happened? Like how much? And wasn't all those losses prior? You know, like I said, I don't think the defamation part, the slander part, any of that is gonna fly. None of it. Like none of that's gonna fly. Um, the part about SA, and actually there is a big problem with that when it comes to actually using the term SA against a man this day and age is an automatic reputation ruiner. It's hard to get away from that. Although they were clear and described the situation so that everybody who listens or actually bothers to find out will hear both sides and can make an actual, determination that he's not an R word or anything like that. Most people don't take the time to do that. So I do understand Miss Kiss concerned about being associated with those two words, with the word, with that term for SA, and having it just tossed around so lightly like that. That is damaging to any man, streamer or not, or even a woman. Okay, it is damaging term. It's reputational nightmare. It's not anything anybody wants to get associated with. So on that particular issue, I'd have to say, like, Emiru may have hurt her position by going whole hard with that term. Although technically, like I said, any unwanted content without consent is SA. So from being the person that it was to, and the person feeling or discussing their feelings about what the situation was, I do kind of understand why she would lean that way. um, but it does have some legal ramifications, if you know what I mean. Also, I understand Asmongold's position. He's a friend of Emiru's. He thinks she was wrong. He feels terrible. He has actually said on his stream how terrible he feels about even platforming Mizkif from the beginning, knowing that this is how he treats people. Because unfortunately for Mizkif, Emiru is not his only problem reputationally. He has mistreated his prior girlfriend, Maya Higa, and a lot of that is coming forward. He has mistreated friends, associates, people he streams with, people he deals with. People are telling some nice stories. They're not just stories. They seem to be facts. It seems like if you act like an ass behind the scenes, sooner or later, when things come out into the public, well, don't be surprised when people line up to help pull you down. Unfortunately, that's what's happening. Because this is the other side of the coin. Like, this whole stream is about using the legal system to weaponizing it to silence people or to help promote your relevancy or public relations, your reputation out there. And like just last week and the week before, we talked about hidden true crime and Lauren Matthews, who tried to do the same. Now, she may have felt threatened by being threatened with her DMs being exposed, and she didn't like people talking about her. And she knew that was going to take not only a reputational hit, but actually hurt her financially with the success of her channel and the empire she's building talking in true crime. Same thing with Miskid. His streaming ability, his empire that he built, could take another hit because of what Emiru said. But it wasn't the only hit it took. Like, whenever you use the system like this, you are going to be scrutinized. You are making it part of the public conversation. And wherever there's public conversation, people have a lot to say. People are going to look stuff up on you. They're going to be posting stuff. They're going to make the case against you in some cases, as with these two recently, make it worse, make it more plausible that everything everybody's saying about you is true. So how are you going to prove anything in court, especially when your own evidence is just the tweets and stuff that's going on in social media? There's two sides to that coin. They've got the clips, they show your bad behavior. They show you what you did to other people. You know? Yup, Streisand effect there, Rocket Couch. Tell me about it, right? I can almost hear Barbara singing in the background. It's so evident. It is just so evident at this point. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, how, like I said, the only thing that makes sense as to why this even got filed was, well, if I was going to be losing millions, I think legally it makes good advice to file this suit. As ridiculous as it sounds, in his bad it makes him look, for financial reasons, to be part of the bargaining to settle this case. Maybe he will owe less to OTK. Maybe they will drop the management fees or something. Because I think even on the OTK King and Mythic size, the companies themselves are not going to want to be involved in a long, drawn out suit. I can't speak for personally emiru or asmongold. They may have stronger reasons to want to fight it tooth and nail to be right. And I don't blame them, because I don't think anything they said, besides the term he's guilty that Asmin did say on stream, I don't think anybody's guilty until they're proven in a court of law. And this is only a civil suit. And well, we know that civil suits are just about sour grapes, butthurt feelings, and trying to get some cash in most cases. Someone feels wronged, and someone's going to pay for it. It's the court of the butthurt, as far as I'm concerned. Y'all know what I say about that. I say it all the time. And I don't mean to say it's not serious. Of course, every lawsuit is serious, but this is civil. No one committed a crime here. No one went to the police. You know, I don't think the police want to hear about hurt feelings and, you know, bad relationships or somebody's streaming career. I don't think they care, and they shouldn't. And you know what? And when it comes to your streaming careers, most of us don't care. We don't care. Like, do you guys care? I don't care. I don't care if he lost subscribers or anything like that. I think, you know, he probably did because of his lack of accountability. You guys know what I say about this all the time. Put on your big girl pants or your big boy pants, as so to speak, and start taking some accountability and tell the truth. Now, I'm sure Ms. Kid feels he's telling the truth to his subscribers out there. He's talking to his audience saying, oh, poor me. Poor Diddums. It's just not playing like that on the socials right now. You will get your name bandied about for quite some time, but people aren't going to forget, because they didn't forget 2022, 2021, or 2020 when you were involved with scandal all over the place. I actually listened to back then during that scandal with the so-called cover-up, which I will say that OTK investigated fairly with mizkif and said they couldn't really pin anything on him that there was an active cover-up. But did he send Maya and Mitch over there to talk to the young lady Adrian, who was sleeping and was touched by a friend of Mitskif's who he didn't want to kick from the house, who wasn't even a streamer, but was his best friend. And he seemed really concerned about his reputation and whether he'd be canceled. How do you get canceled if you don't have a stream? I don't know, but I guess he meant canceled socially in the circle, like not being able to go to the parties and stuff like that. Well, he already had a pretty bad reputation because more than Adrian came out and spoke about some very unpleasant situations with him. And not that he had done anything really egregious, like there's no R here, there's nothing like that. There are no charges being placed, but there's plenty of civil lawsuits. There's plenty of accusations going on. And although he was cleared for not making an active campaign against Adrian, there was some blackballing that was done. She wasn't invited. She lost friends. She did have some loss. She did try to sue Miss Kip in the other person who laid hands on her, and she it got tossed for lack of evidence. Yes, it did. So it was a win for the defendants in that case when a case gets tossed. So, you know, knowing that you need a lot of evidence and having been in this situation before, I'm pretty sure Mitskif is making like rolling the dice and hoping that he gets a good settlement out of this. Because if they decide altogether or any part of the defendants, meaning emiru, asmongold, in actually OTK, King, and the other group. Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank on the name of the other group. I'm sorry, but if they all decide to actually just go and file to have the whole case tossed, to dismiss it outright for lack of actual credible evidence, which, based on him using OTK's own letter on why there was plenty of conduct there to terminate his contract prior to his recent bad contact, which also is a reason to terminate his contract and actually violate the promissory note, because it's actually not only violating the original contract, but then the renegotiated secondary contract to actually remove him from the company anyway. I mean, it's like a double violation on top of it. And he can't even claim he didn't know because it was laid out in the promissory note in the agreement before in 2023 because of all the situations and him stepping away. To me, it looks like things were thought out. I can't imagine anybody, even mizkif, is actually thinking this out with a lawyer and some good advice to position himself to settle this and not to have the big financial hit that's coming his way. But if he's got any notions about this helping his reputation, I'd have to say, like, that's definitely not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, you know. On that, well, let me just check the chat because I have not looked. I think I need to change the lyrics to a Blue Oyster Cult song. Don't fear the mirror. Yes, exactly. Don't fear the mirror. I hear you, Jean. I hear you. Hey, student. Good to see you. Oh, it's good you came by. It's been a while. Yep. I know. Bunnies will get revenge. Grace. I tell you. I tell you. I don't know. How about this is true. How about just stop being twat waffle? Yeah, he's not really getting a lot of sympathy. I can imagine. And like I said, I don't really want to bash him because I hmm, nobody likes the spotlight on him. Like, nobody likes to be talked about. We talked about this, but trying to use the legal system and junking it up, like, to position yourself for a better outcome, it doesn't really work, and we're watching it fail, and it's really starting to annoy me. I don't know why these people think this, that they can just tie up the, I mean, criminals. We need the legal system for criminals. Like, we need to focus on the real crimes of America, not people's butthurt feelings. Like, yep. All our streams have come, viewed, and now they're gone. I know, that's the Blue Oyster Cult song. Good change of the lyrics there, Couch. Yeah. You and Jean should get together and rewrite the whole song. Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, does anybody have any other questions? Like, besides my recommending you to watch the videos that are listed in the description below, I welcome anyone to comment and give me further information should you feel I need it in regards to addressing this situation. And like I said, I don't mean to disparage anybody involved in it. It's just pretty common sense to me that this was not a good idea. And I don't see a big win for mizkif either way, although I'm not a lawyer. But I do see some of the good legal points to position himself to probably make a deal. Because, well, for one, nobody wants to be tied up in long negotiations for a very long time. And then the issue of the strong words of SA about an incident that they both agree was a really large misunderstanding. And, well, and how that could be reputational damage But that would be the only thing, not the rest of it. I mean, Mizkif himself admits to all of the behavior that could cause emiru emotional distress and have her feel that she was psychologically abused. Based on the text messages we saw in some of the things he did on stream, he's going to have a really hard time defending that that's not the case. And he actually has to prove that the statements aren't true. That's the first part about defamation. And then he's going to have to prove the second part, the reputational damage that caused the loss of income. Because here's the deal, just because people don't want to stream with you, could it be part of the ongoing bad reputation that started back in 2020 and 2021 from your own actions? It is not just the one thing that Emiru said. Okay, if you're not getting the deals you want, people aren't streaming with you, and you're not making the money you used to make, and this has been an ongoing issue for at least a year, okay, or more, maybe it's a combination of all of your bad behavior and all of your relationship issues that are public on the stream, and trying to pin it on one person and not taking any accountability yourself. Well, I don't think that even plays out in the civil court. You would have to have 12 of the very sympathetic jurors. You're going to have to cry with those puppy dog eyes. And I got to admit, when he gets all teary eyed and soft like that, he does, like, you want to feel bad for him. Like, he's just got that look, you know? You're just like, look, he really feels bad, right? And I don't know if he's good at acting or if he's sincere. I don't know him well enough to say that. You know, I've been fooled before by a set of blue eyes with watery tears in them in a soft little puppy look. You know, who hasn't, right? Who hasn't? Well, but I doubt he could get 12 of them all at once, you know. And I doubt he'd want to take the stand so that they could see that puppy look in those watery eyes. You know, because if he takes the stand and the opposing side gets to question him, and well, he's one to admit some things that he's done, not that he thinks they're wrong, but he talks too much. I'm sure he'd sink his case in 5 minutes. But, you know, that's just my personal opinion. I'm not a lawyer. What do I know? I'm not even a paralegal. Yeah. And I'm not a journalist or a reporter either. Like I say, I'm just a bear with a mic. It's just my opinion. This is this is what I think is messed up about this whole thing. And that's that. The butthurt replied and it sent a bad signal right to the bear. Yes, they did. It interrupted my peaceful day, Rocky Couch. It did. He picks up his butt and slams it back down, spreading his stench all over town. And baby, to the tune of Godzilla. Does that work? That works, Jin. Godzilla. Oh my god, that works so good. I love when you guys rewrite the lyrics to songs. I love to do that in parody. I wish I could sing. I would join you all, and we would just get out. I mean, like this voice doesn't sing anymore. No, 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 not anymore. That is actually really good. Yeah, really good. But on that, like, I think I'm done. I think this is it for this stream for tonight. If you guys don't have anything, but like I said, please, I invite you all. Please go ahead and, you know, comment, like, share the video if you will. I mean, I'm very pleased lately with the amount of subscribers, the amount of people that are watching me after my lives. I mean, granted, I don't get a lot of new people in the chats, and I'd really like to see some of you. If you're listening, come on, come to a live. Let me know what you like and what you don't like. But if you can't come to the live, because I know like nobody really knows when I'm going to stream anymore because real life has been rather crazy. I do try for Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights, and then I do stream on Saturday with my library chats. Right now, we're doing the 48 Laws. We've got chapter 13 coming up because we didn't stream last Saturday. And I try to do it regularly, but lately it's been pushing it all over. So I understand you don't know when to come. And I do appreciate the replays. I do appreciate all the views. You guys have been very generous to me. But I want to hear what you think too. I mean, part of this is about opening up the dialogue and talking. And if you think I'm wrong about how I view this particular suit that's being filed, and granted, there hasn't been a response from the other side yet, so we're only hearing mizkif's side. Let me know about it. I'm not opposed to having a discussion. I answer every comment. Uh, it's from what I see, he's not, Mizkif himself is not in a good position with this lawsuit. I think he made some valid points about the term essay, although no one out there has called him anything serious as he's claiming, which can be a point of contention for the other side and a judge. Like, don't make claims you can't prove in your case. Don't do that in the complaint. I mean, you're opening it up for dismissal right away. And, well, if they don't want to negotiate, the other side could file a very strong case to dismiss this whole thing. And then it'll be up to the judge. I mean, retaliatory, you know, retaliatory lawsuit. Yes, a lawsuit of retaliation without substance. They do have prior arrangements with Mizkaf for those stocks, and then he violated the conduct clause afterwards. I mean, legally, it sounds like OTK is coming from the right angle there. Are they being mean about the management fees and pressing him hard? Sure, they are. But is that because of his conduct and how he's talking about and treating and talking to other OTK members? More than likely, they've got a brand to protect. And you're not part of it anymore, Ms. Kid. They're going to circle the wagons. And you are the man on the outside. That takes strong, strong consideration when you file the lawsuit. I don't blame OTK. I don't. And I think it's your threats and your nasty comments that you can't deny because they're public. They're in print. They're on YouTube. And even if you delete it now, they're still out there. They're still quoted. So you kind of dug yourself a hole here. I admire the fact that you're trying to get out of it, but I don't think you're going to get out of it all the way. But have you maneuvered yourself into a negotiating point to settle the lawsuit? Probably. Probably good advice from a lawyer to do so, because I think that might be the goal. Yep. On that, yes, you're right, Mrs. Cassandra. The internet is forever. Forever and ever and ever. Okay. On that, I'm heading out, everyone. I will see you on Saturday for Library Chats, the 48th Law for Chapter 13 with Wrecker. I'm looking forward to it. It's a good one, you know. And thank you for your patience this week as I rescheduled a few things. I'm really hoping things settle down and I can get back to Tuesday and Wednesdays regularly. In the meantime, I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you to my mods. Thank you to everybody on Kick and Twitch if you decide to follow. Uh, and we'll see you all soon. Have a really great weekend. Enjoy your Friday night, everybody. And, you know, try to not file any really crazy lawsuits. I don't want to be talking about you next week. Okay? See you later.